right, guys, I thought I would start this episode with this question. What does a godly man look like in today's dating world? I realize not every one of you is on a faith journey, but I think it's still quite relevant for all men today. As I started putting this list together and things I wanted to talk about, I realized I'm going to have to break it up into multiple episodes because there's just so much I want to talk about and kind of establish a foundation for us as men. I'm trying to keep these talking head episodes in short form. Then, as I have guests on the channel, that will probably end up being a lot longer. So, back to what does a godly man look like in today's dating world? I see two different sides that we can get stuck between: old school expectations and modern expectations. Old school says, be the provider, be the leader, open the door, pay for the date. And those are all good things that we should be doing, in my opinion. Modern expectations say, be vulnerable, communicate more, ghosting is normal. Everything seems faster except for the commitment. I'm not saying one is better than the other, they're just both different. And I don't think we need to choose between old school and modern. We should blend the best of both. So I put together a partial list that I think defines godly men in today's dating world and what I strive to be. Let me know what you think of these in the comments, please. All right, first one is a godly man leads. In our culture, we are rewarded with ambiguity and being very casual and non-committal, really passive in our behavior. And I think we need to cut through all of that. To me, leadership in dating means taking the initiative and planning your date. One thing I never, ever, ever, ever do is say to her, I don't care, whatever you want to do. Or it doesn't matter to me what we do. The thing is, it does matter because we do care. I would turn it around and say something like, hey, are you free Friday at 7? I found a great place for dinner or a glass of wine. Or something like choosing a safe environment, scouting it out first, making her feel comfortable with your decision making. There's a lot more we can talk about here, and we definitely will later. So part of leadership, to me, is taking initiative and planning your dates. Another way a godly man leads is setting a healthy pace. We tend to rush into intimacy or physical connection. I know I've rushed into the intimacy part in the past, and here I am still single, but really, we should be waiting for God's wisdom, saying, I'm okay if things don't work out. I trust God's timing. I know this can be difficult, and I know this takes patience, a lot of patience. When it's not a healthy pace, I find what is happening is that we are committing to a hope instead of a person we really understand. I'm going to create another episode on how to slow it all down to a healthy pace. So make sure you look for that one if you want more information. Because in the end, really, pacing protects both of us. Another way a godly man leads is by practicing purity. I know this one goes against our culture, and it is one that I have struggled with, and I know many of us do. Today's society is so hypersexualized, purity is countercultural. But I believe it is still deeply respected by a godly woman. In my recent dating experience, I had the opportunity and pleasure of dating a woman who wanted to wait until marriage. It was so foreign to me. I rationalized that waiting didn't really matter. I'd already been married and I wasn't a virgin. But I will tell you, looking for a long-term, committed relationship, it was really refreshing. And deep down, I knew that it would please God as well as make our relationship stronger spiritually. Now, unfortunately, it didn't work out for other reasons, but it has helped me lead with these things in mind, such as having personal standards, communicating boundaries, and protecting your physical, emotional, and spiritual intimacy. The important part of purity is to protect ourselves from content and people and environments that pull us away from God and a healthy relationship. I'm going to break these out in another episode as well. So I think some of the best ways to lead are initiating things, making decisions, setting the tone, communicating like an adult, protecting our intimacy, and moving things forward with intention. There's that word again, intention. I use it a lot, and it is something that has guided me later in life. I think of the story of Boaz in the book of Ruth. Boaz wasn't pushy or controlling. He wasn't passive, desperate, or clingy, nor was he perfect, but what he was a protector, he was smooth, he was intentional, he took action, and he was well respected. So go be like Boaz. All right, so that wraps up part one. I tried to lay a foundation by talking about what might separate us from the noise and the trends and the confusion of modern dating. Maybe we can take some time in the coming weeks to reflect. What am I leading with? What defines me? Where can I grow? If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who might need to hear this message as well. And don't forget to join me for part two, where we'll dive deeper into strength, physical, spiritual, and emotional, and how it shapes our dating experience. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.